Welcome to our advanced training for content marketing. In this video, we're going to take your content to a much deeper, tactical level. We're going to discover how to utilize segmentation based on customer behaviour and maximising your automation for best results. It all starts with the buyer persona. This is one of the activities that tends to get overlooked. I can't stress enough how important this step is. You need to take the time to think about who your ideal buyers are. Maybe there are a few different types of buyers. You should make a profile for your main ones at the very least, and preferably for them all. Don't worry, we have templates in our toolkit that will help you with this. The more you understand who you're producing content for, the easier it becomes. For example, if your buyer is the business owner, then it's a very different approach than someone who is, let's say, a consumer. Once you've got a clear picture of who your buyers are, it's time to identify the buying process. These are the stages that your buyers go through as they discover and ultimately buy your product. Each stage is different and needs to be thought about in context to each different buyer persona. Each stage of this buying process has a different requirement to succeed. Let's take a look at an example of this. Then we'll move on to utilising this concept for mastering your content initiative. We begin by simplifying the buying stages to discovery, consideration, and decision. Each stage has different needs. Here's an example map of possible content across all these different stages. You can see multiple types of content to keep your buyer engaged, interested, and in context. Pretend that you work for a software company and you're selling to somebody who's either a business owner or in business. The first step in the buyer's stage is discovery. Here, you need to detail your competitive difference. You could start with a third-party analyst report on the top software companies out there, including yourself. Next, you could share a post about some new product features you have, followed by an infographic about what software small business owners are using today. The ending could feature an animated video that describes who you are, such as an explainer video. Now, in the consideration stage, you should focus on ease of use. Here are examples of 4 pieces of content you could share. The first one could be a guide on how to do more with limited resources. Or it could be a case study on how one small change made a big difference. Or a webinar on how to find an extra hour each day. This, of course, would be your software that's solving the problem. The 4th piece of content in this stage could be a demo video on how your solution works. In this final stage, the decision stage, you need to prove a return on investment in order to move people along and make a purchase. You could start with a customer testimonial that highlights the positive things your customers are saying. Then maybe a pricing table, a business case template to save even more time for them, and an ROI calculator to help them to figure out how much they'll save. As a delegate in the Studiowide Academy, you'll get access to the tools and templates that take care of the buying persona and buying process, content mapping, even templates for the case studies, and more. So don't worry, we've got your back. The main takeaway at this point is that hopefully, you can now see how much more powerful content can be when you segment and match it to each buying stage and for each persona. Not only does this empower your content marketing initiative overall, but now your sales team will have additional resources that they can share at exactly the right moment to generate results. So, next up is your marketing automation system. We have a list of different marketing automation suppliers that expands upon this in much more detail, but suffice to say, there's a load of technology out there, such as MailChimp, Campaign Monitor. We actually use our own software. Any one of these will enable you to automate how content is delivered to your prospects 24/7, without your need to get involved at each step. In all cases, marketing automation requires you to obtain email addresses from your prospects in order to build your list. You can do this by offering something that's perceived by the recipient as genuinely high value, in exchange for their email address. This will allow you to market to them from that point forward. At this first stage, you're asking for their permission, so come up with your best offer. Focus on something that's immediate and preferably their top pain point. Offering something lengthy or something that covers too many topics or too many areas doesn't generate as many conversions. This makes sense. People work best when they're focused. So, home in on what they want and offer it up in exchange for their email. Tap into who they are and where they are. We'll come to landing pages in the next video, But for now, let's focus on why emails are so important and so central to marketing automation. Email is still the best revenue-generating channel out there because everyone has it. Everyone looks at it, and you can measure engagement based on how often someone opens, clicks, and interacts with your content. Here's a few quick facts. 1. 77% of ROI comes from segmented, targeted, and triggered email campaigns. 2. In 2018, the most popular internet activity was sending or receiving emails, with 84% of adults involved in this activity. 3. Automated emails generate 320% more revenue than non-automated emails. 4. 73% of marketers rate email as the #1 digital channel for ROI. The bottom line is, you need to build your email list, and you need to build it with permission. Having a good permission-based email list is the only way to leverage these stats to their fullest. And remember, as we discussed in our previous video, you need to sell the click in your emails and nothing else. Build that curiosity. You can take this even further by marketing automation systems, by split testing subject lines for the email. This means, as well as testing the content of your email to see which versions do best, and later on even your landing pages, A/B split testing of subject headers is a great way to see what works and what doesn't. Test a subject line on a subset of your list before sending something out, and keep testing your automated campaigns multiple times to get better and better results. So, your marketing automation systems can do great things for you, all on autopilot. It can score leads based on how they interact with content, and even change what content they get based on what actions they take. Here's another important takeaway. There are 2 levels of automation. The first is a straightforward sequence to each prospect. For example, week 1 is email 1, week 2 is email number 2, so on and so forth. They distribute the content over weeks or months and push towards a specific goal throughout, like buying a specific product, for example. The downside to this method is that everyone is different. No one likes to be sold to, but everyone likes to buy. No one wants to be treated like a number or handled by a robot. Everyone wants a customized experience just for them, based on who they are and what they want. Contacts and customers are expecting this, especially since they've already been interacting with you when leaving their contact details. And if somebody has already bought your product, how annoying would it be for them to get the same offer via email? At the very least, it would show that you don't really know that much about them. It's important, therefore, to segment your potential buyers based on the actions they take, including the purchase itself. Your system can do all of this automatic grouping based on user activity for you. This is the holy grail of digital marketing and the basis of what we call a contact strategy. If someone ignores your first email and doesn't click, you can send them a second email with the same link, but a different subject line and different body copy. If they already clicked on that first email, they'd never see that second email. It's just for people who didn't click on the first one. We know they didn't see the final landing page content because they didn't click, so we can ask them again in a different way. This way, the prospect only sees what they should at any point in the process. If someone doesn't engage, the system will segment accordingly for future re-engagement using different offers that hopefully get them to engage. By segment, I mean actually categorizing them in a group of contacts. Those who are buyers, those who clicked on certain emails, all of that different activity, we call segments. We use the following segmentation groups: suspect, prospect, warm prospect, opportunity, and customer. You can do this tagging and advanced segmentation in your own email lists. Here's a big tip, and it might sound obvious, but it's a step that people tend to forget. Once you've set all of this up, you should audit your marketing automation at each stage to check if your opt-in prospect actually gets the content they signed up to. The key to success in content marketing at this advanced level is segmenting your prospects by their behaviours, and then being in context every step of their journey. If your contacts don't get the right content that you've planned, and at the right time, then all of this falls down. That said, a successful contact strategy using advanced content marketing tactics doesn't mean writing more emails and designing comprehensive algorithms of marketing automation. The software is there to help you. It simply requires your will and a focus to make it happen. So, If the free PDF guide they downloaded isn't getting clicked on and they didn't engage, perhaps send them a webinar instead, so they can sit back and listen to the content. We do cover webinars in a different course, but if webinars don't work, i.e. they're too complex for you right now, just try an infographic or a short video or blog post. But I think you get the idea. You shuffle the content around based on their persona and their context in the buying journey. The goal is to harvest the user's engagement. Okay, that's the end of part 1. Join me in part 2 of Advanced Content Marketing, where I'll be discussing landing pages as part of your marketing automation. See you there.